You know him from all sorts of things and Highlander. Please welcome Mr. Adrian Paul.
Taking a leaf out of his book.
They're not very good at that. We should try. Okay, you ready? Wait. That's better. That's better. Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat, and then we've got a microphone set up here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free anytime to just hop in there and ask away. But let's get started, right? Let's get started right away with Highlander. You know, because I forget the TV series. You were here filming one of the Highlander movies here in Lithuania, right?
Yep. In 2000 and something.
So memory is the first to go.
Yes, it's like 17 years ago, but yeah. And I tell people I don't remember much about Lithuania because I was filming. I go to bed at 4 o'clock I wake up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, go to work all night, go to bed in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then go. So I would see just the nights, and that was it. So that was a month and a half, I think, 2 months we were here. Something like that.
So it's a much more fun experience this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you guys are here, right?
They're not good at that. They've got to do that again. That's it.
Okay.
Yay! That's
a little bit. All right, but now through Highlander, you did sword play, right? The swords. Let's talk swords.
Sword play something.
Let's talk about swords.
Yeah, I mean, I actually this is my company, the Sword Experience, and actually he has one of the T-shirts on. I'm pointing you out because he came to my event in London last year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
he's following you. He's a stalker.
Yeah, and he keeps saying, "I've got to bring it to Lithuania. I've got to bring it to Lithuania." It basically what I did was a lot of people asked me. They said, "Do you want to, tell me how to do swords?" And I'm like, "Do you do video?" I'm like, I want to do video. And then in 2015, I had a young man from a charity. We were raising some money for him, and I said, and I had a convention like this, and I said, "Oh, I'll put on a class to just teach people some choreography." And I had a lot of people turn up, and I thought, okay, maybe there's still interest in sword. So I started doing it, and it's grown and grown and grown and grown. I take people to castles, to buildings. I'll teach them choreography and the proper handling of a sword in one day. He'll tell you, and you can translate for me too if you want. And then I'll write a story, and the story of the choreography is part of the story, and then we film it, and then we put it on YouTube, and you get that and photograph it, and so it's a whole process.
Wow! But now that's your background, right? I mean, you started as a dancer and a choreographer.
Yeah. Choreography is much like martial arts, right? If you do choreography is a series of moves put together. You're doing this, whatever you're doing, And martial arts is the same. You're doing the same. You follow a series of moves. So it's one after another. It's very similar in a sense to be able to do movement.
Right. So.
Except one you're dancing and the other one you're knocking someone out. It's different.
It's the same thing. So, and that gets right. Our panel here is 90s action TV's lasting influence. Do you think, with the choreography and stuff, the being able to move from an early part of your career, did that help as you moved into?
Yeah, I've always been sport. I was on the rugby team. I was a semi-pro soccer player. I was on the tennis team. I was on the track. Physical stuff for me has always been my life. And my son is like that too now. He's very athletic. And
so at no point did you, the professional sportsman, say, I'm going to go into dancing. That's masculine. That's macho.
No. Back in the day when we were, being a model, I was a model. How do you say that in Lithuanian? Model. Do you know a model? You know, mannequin?
Modelis.
Walking up and down, you know, like that. You know. Thank you. It was a competition I won because my girlfriend put me into a competition for a magazine. And I was like, what? A magazine? But, you know. And eventually I started modeling. And then I liked the very first, one of the first jobs I got as a model, I guess because I used to like to move, was doing fashion shows. And the very first fashion show I did was a charity gala in front of Princess Margaret, the royal Princess Margaret. And I get this jacket to put on, and I had a silk shirt underneath, and it was satin, so it was very slippery. So as I'm walking towards Princess Margaret, this jacket is falling down, and I am so nervous, I can't move a muscle in my body. The only thing I could do was turn around and go, that got me a name in the industry. And I enjoyed doing it after that. So that was my introduction to movement on stage. And then I learned choreography for numbers. Then I went to France. I worked for a team traveling across Europe. We went to Germany. We went to Milan, Munich, doing dance shows. And so that's how it grew.
And then from there, you went into acting.
Yeah, because we did vaudeville stuff. So in other words, they would do these shows for Adidas, depending on which country you call it from, Fila, and all these different, and we would do mime, you know, we would do different mime things. So it was an audience, a small audience, but I loved being on stage. So that kind of got me the idea of being on stage and being able to do something. And people said, you should do acting, you should do acting. And since I did it when I was 14 years old, and I loved doing it, I thought, yeah, that seems to be the next step. So that's what I did.
So what was your first role? What was the first thing that kind of started you off there?
The Colbys.
The Colbys.
The Colbys was an American TV show. Anybody know Dynasty here? You ever heard of Dynasty? Yeah. Well,
Dynasty?
It was the next one after that, you know.
Nighttime soap opera.
Yeah. And I played a Russian ballet dancer. I was Italian English on an American TV show. Go figure that one out. I mean,
do you still do the Russian accent?
yeah, well, yes, they talk like this all the time. I love accents. Yes.
Like most of their grandparents.
No, it was something that I remember. The only I know a couple of words in Russian now, but the first thing I ever learned was "Я вас люблю," which means I love you. Oh yeah, I know. There's the girls in the audience, isn't there?
Nice.
So yeah, so that was my initial entry into it, and there was an actor called Charlton Heston. Anybody heard of him?
Of course.
Yeah, he walked up and he says to me, he goes, "Oh, we're very excited to have you. We've been looking forward to seeing you." And I'm like, "You? You're Moses, for Christ's sake!" like, yeah.
Do you guys know Charlton Heston? Yes. Okay. Just make.
He's passed on now.
Old. We're old.
He's passed. Yeah, easy. I'm 400. You're younger.
So, all right, so we move into Highlander. Obviously, right, the movie had come out and they're doing the series. You move into the series. Did you look at the movie for inspiration, or did you just try to make it your own from the beginning?
You know, I'd done a series before. I'd done War of the Worlds, and I always knew the important thing was to make it your own and not take over somebody else's role. And when I got Highlander, I was going to be Connor MacLeod. And I went, oh no, I don't want to be Connor MacLeod. I want to be something else, because guaranteed people that had seen the movies would go, whoa, he doesn't look like that. He's doing this and this is different. And everybody compares. So when I got the Highlander, luckily Christophe Lambert was available to do the show. So I became, okay, they said, we've got to find another name for you. How about Ian MacLeod? I went, no, Ian doesn't really work. So eventually they come out with Duncan, because if you look at the Highlander, all the bad guys started with a k sound, the Kurgan, right? They're all it was just, so Duncan was the strong edge of it, so that's why the name stuck.
So, Okay, no, but it's interesting that you were able to say to them, I don't want to do that. I want to do it in a different way. Do you, with Highlander or with any other thing, do you have any type of creative input, or do you kind of make those creative suggestions?
I learned on Highlander how to get your way without making it your opinion. And by that I mean, in the beginning of the first season, they came up to me, the producer came up to me and said, you got to change the accent. The Scottish accent doesn't work. Now, if you've seen it dubbed in Lithuanian, the Scottish accent, you wouldn't have gotten that. But in the English version, every flashback that we did, he'd be talking like this. Hi, I'm Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. You know, so they said, well, the American audience won't understand it, and you can't do it. And we'd done 14 episodes already. And I was like, but that doesn't make sense. I am a Scot in Scotland. What am I supposed to do? An American accent? Doesn't work. So I said, no. And the producer went, what do you mean? Actually, no, sorry. What do you mean? Because it was female. He said, what do you mean? I'm a producer. I'm like, well, I know, but I don't agree with it. Well, I'm going to get Bill Panzer. Bill Panzer was the producer from the films who was actually on the series. And he said, she said, I'm going to get him to call you. I said, all right, get him to call me. And in that moment, I realized it would be stupid of me to say, I'm not doing this. Because the minute you say, I'm not doing it, somebody else says, oh, yes, you are. So instead of doing that, when he phoned me about a couple of hours later, I said, you know what, Bill? I've tried doing the accent without the character, and I don't know who he is anymore. I don't know who it is. You know, so I'll do it if you want. He goes, no. Wait a minute. I said, well, you know, maybe, he says, maybe we can do it from a certain time. He said, yeah, why don't we do it from 1815, and then after that, he has the American accent. I went, that's a good idea. And so I got it to about 1850, where he still had an accent. And the funny thing was, about 3 weeks after that, they got the feedback from the audience saying, we love the Scottish accent, we love it. And so I was vindicated. It wasn't because I wanted to be an asshole, let's get about it. I knew inside me that it was right, but I didn't say, and this is the problem with social media today. The problem with social media is everybody has an opinion, and somebody else has another opinion, and basically the wall of social media allows you to say whatever you want without having anything come back to you. But I guarantee you, if you said that to somebody's face, they would get very upset and they'd end up in a fight. So people are a little bit more not wanting to say those things, and a little bit more respectful towards people. So that's what I understood with being a producer, that you had to produce something and not make it a fight with somebody, but to adjust to get what you wanted.
So do you take that philosophy with you into other things, into the Peace Fund, that's your organization, into the sword experience?
Yeah, everything. I mean, you know, when I do the sword experience, I have so many different people from different walks of life. I have experts, martial artists. I have people that have never touched a sword in their life. So I have to deal with them differently. And sometimes it's very frustrating because, you know, I can do this. Get up a minute, I'll show you. Okay. Watch this. Pick that up. Okay. Pretend this is a sword, right? Now just swing at me. And I'll say, okay, you're not supposed to swing like that. You're supposed to swing like this. And I will take somebody's hand and I will say, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how you're supposed to do it. And guess what they do? The minute I take my hand away, and I don't understand, yes, yeah, they'll immediately they're starting like this. I'm saying, no, do this. And they go, oh, yeah, that. So I got to go, okay, so all of that is, you can sit down now, it's okay. All of that is, all of that is part patience with people. And it's like having children. Those of you, who has children in here? And the only way you get them to do what you want is when you have patience with them, right? Because if you go, no, you can't do that, then you'll get, for the next 5 minutes, right? So you have to be patient, and that's what we don't have is patience. So sometimes I think that's what I learned, is to have patience with people. So that's the same thing with being a producer.
Now, what about your creative output? What do you like to do creatively?
Watch my son play soccer. Football.
That's a bit more passive, though, isn't it? I mean, do you...
No, I actually train. I train some of the kids. And I train him. And so, I mean, I don't get... having 3 children is not relaxing. Right. It's a lot of work. And so I think, you know, you have to... The relaxing I get is going to see my daughter dance, because my daughter is a dancer. She does 13 hours a week of training, and my son does every day soccer. So to see them play is kind of my fun. You know, I kind of enjoy that. And it's weird because before I'd be partying in the club or something, but now it's totally different.
So do you coach the team, or?
Not the team, but I'll individually, I used to train them when they were younger, when they were like 6, 7, 8 years old. Now that they're getting into club, which is 11 years old, I will arrange for them to go to different trainers and things, and I'll arrange the parents to make sure that the team is training together.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And are they doing good?
Yeah, they haven't lost a game.
Nice.
Since Christmas when they restarted. So anyway.
Okay. So, all right, again, right, we're talking 90s action, TV's lasting influence.
I want to ask people out here, what's the thing you like the most about the show?
Everything!
You win! The ponytail, where's the ponytail? I sold it. I did, for charity. Well, I could sell yours for you if you want. It's, you know, the show was really interesting. I think everybody liked it for a different reason. Some people liked it for the action, you know, the action. Some people liked it for the history. Some people liked it for the romance. So it was fun to do. But obviously, I might do this here. Maybe I'll do this here. If you guys...
Do we want him to do it here? I don't even know what it is.
Actually, I might not be the one doing it. You might be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a free autograph picture.
Uh-oh.
Who knows what a quickening is? Do you know what the quickening is? You know that? Does everybody know that? Yeah? So I'm going to offer you the best quickening up here for those people that want to come up here, because every quickening is different. I've had ladies come up and men come up, and usually the ladies will confer, going, you know what, I think we should do it like this, and the guys are over there going, oh, I don't know, I think I'll do this. So it's really interesting to watch the difference between people's quickenings. And what is a quickening? Do you know what a quickening is? It's the getting of all the power, right? But what do you do? What does it sound like, a quickening? You're all smiling, aren't you? Or are you? Anybody know what the best description of a quickening is? Lightning? No. What does it...
Bane.
Any ideas now?
Bane.
Any ideas? Thank you. That's kind of what it is to a degree. To a degree. I said a degree, right? Because it's... So, anybody want to come up and put their hand up and do one of those? Because I did them all for you many times. Yeah, okay, I got paid for it, but still. Anybody want to put their hand up and come up and do that? Because I'm going to embarrass all of you. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
All right, come on. Somebody's got to volunteer. We got one.
We got one. Come on, we got 2. Come on, I'm going to get 2 or 3. 1, come on.
Come on up.
Anybody want to come up? I'll give you a free autograph picture. Anybody want to come up? That's 2. I need at least 5. At least 5.
All right, come on up.
There's 3. There's 3. There's 3. Come on.
Grab any women.
Any of the girls in the audience? I know you're all shy because you don't usually do this. It's not really fun to do. Come on, now I've got 2 more people out of all of you. How many, like 100 people in this room? 200? I don't know. Anybody else? There's 4, see? And what's really interesting is you'll see how different all of these are. 4, I got at least 1 more. At least 1 more. Come on, I know. I got one. Going through. Going twice. Going 3 times. No. Anybody in the front? I know somebody else is going to put it. There's the no. I knew there'd be another one.
There we go.
So, okay, let's start. What's your name?
Paul.
Paul?
Yeah, Paulus, actually.
Paulus, like Adrianus Paulus, yeah. Funny that I've never understood why you put US on the end of it, because every country I've been to, Russia, England, Italy, France, I get Adrian Paul. Here I get Adrianus Paulus. Does anybody else know why? I have no idea why. Anyway, Paul, hello. What's your name?
Nils.
Nils? Venus?
Victoras. Victoras.
Victorus. See, there's another us. See? Victorus. Yes.
Donatas.
Donas.
Marius.
Marius. Okay. So
I'm Jackass. So.
this is Jackass. You go over there. You sit down for a minute. So I'm going to bring each one of you out here, center stage, because you need to move over a little bit. And you're going to pretend to chop, and then go, ah, okay? So you have to pretend that this is a quickening. And I'm going to go 1, 2...
You're gonna cut me or
No, you're going to cut me, okay? And you are the voters. You vote the best quickening, all right? Okay, ready? Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's number 1. It's all going to change in a minute. So, okay, you ready? Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Number 3. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, I didn't quite hear that. Are you ready? That's better. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, every quickening is different, remember? Every quickening is different, so you can make it your own. I'm going to start a sideline. I'm going to start business with this. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Last but not least, number 5. You ready? I guess 3, 2, 1. Over there. Okay, so you are the audience. They were very similar. I guarantee you, if it was a girl up here, it'd be different. So I'm going to put numbers up, and you guys are going to cheer for your favorite. Okay, ready? Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Okay, hold on a second. I've got 3 front runners to sound here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to have to vote again because I couldn't get... Ready? Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. I think it's number 3, don't you?
Number 3, yeah.
Number 3. Thank you. You can come. I'll give you a free autograph afterwards when we go downstairs. Gentlemen, thank you for being such great sports. Thank you so much.
Give them all a round of applause.
So, talking a little bit about the quickening was always getting the power from things. And if you notice when I did it, it was different every time. The reason why it's different is because it's not just about screaming. It's about whether or not you want it or not. whether it was a friend, whether it was an enemy, whether it was a powerful immortal, whatever. And that was the difference when you look at the way I did it. Hopefully it made sense. That's what the process was in doing that. Okay, next question.
How do I follow that? That's really the question. Does anybody have any questions from the audience? Anybody have any questions? Here we go.
Hi, Adrian. As I can see, you're a strong personality. You have a really strong mind. So please tell me, actors, they tend to have iconic roles, right? So as Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator and you as a Highlander, does it bother you to be called Highlander on the streets and people recognize you only as, or most of the time, as a Highlander?
You know, originally I thought it would. And it did, and it does occasionally. But I have to be thankful for that because I was given the opportunity to do it, and it affected so many different people that I cannot say that it annoys me or anything like that, because everybody in this room is who they are from their past. They grow from whatever it is. So I was given this great opportunity to do this, so I'm always thankful for it now. I understand and I appreciate it much more now, being older, that what gift it gave me.
Thank you for the childhood.
Okay, so let's talk about the Peace Fund. That's your charity, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. How do you go about starting a charity and why?
Peace Fund. Peace stands for, I may end it soon actually, protect, educate, aid children everywhere. And I started it right after Highlander. Reason was, every time I would come out my trailer, I would have 20, 30 kids asking for an autograph. And I realized how important it was to give a positive message to these children. And I always believed that children, if they're given the right message when they're younger, turn into adults that have the right attitude in life. And so that's why I started it. And we've done numerous countries over the years. It's been 26, 27 years we've been in operation. We did a radio show, which was a podcast. We did over 700 hours of radio. And I've dealt with things from foster care to autism to hunger to education to all this. And, you know, the things I've learned from doing that is really that human beings are pretty much all alike. Whether you come from Thailand, whether you come from China, whether you're Ukrainian, Russian, American, Italian, we all love, we all have fear, we all have anger, and we all have the same values that we have. It's just we have different ways of showing that. And that to me is important, but we don't do that in life, unfortunately. So the kids, if I can give them a positive attitude, positive reinforcement, that's something that, you know, as a celebrity, I would bring other celebrities to come in and give them that help. So to me, it was important to start that organization.
When you were a child yourself, did you have that kind of nurturing?
Yeah, I mean, my mom and my dad were, you know, I had a good upbringing. I was not poor. I wasn't rich. You know, we had a house, and you know, I went to school, and so I had a basic normal upbringing. I didn't have any problems when I was a child, though.
Okay, so it wasn't something that came from a history.
But the majority of charities, what's interesting, I don't know about Lithuania, but in the United States, the majority of charities actually keep the United States alive. All the schools, all the parks, all the stuff are funded by charities. They're worked by volunteers, people that go out there and help other people just because they want to help. And actually, I was listening to some of the crew from here. You know, they're going to go and volunteer around here. Then they go into the marathon to actually volunteer. So the same thing happens, and I think it applies across the whole world, that people have a good heart in the majority.
So being an action star where you spend a lot of your time killing people, how does that balance? What?
TV.
It's TV, but is the influence, right? Would you moving forward, would you want to take on roles that are more positive rather than?
No, I don't think so.
We're gonna beat people up.
You know, I just want to kill people. No. To be honest, I played a lot of recently in the past 4 or 5 years. I've done a lot of bad characters, and I think to have a good guy, you have to have a bad guy, a good bad guy, and that teaches people the difference between the two, the good and the bad. So I don't think it's we're actors. We get put into roles where we act, you know, and we change people's lives because of the story that we're telling.
Do you ever bring the story yourself? Do you ever participate in the writing of the projects?
Yeah, I actually have a script that I'm probably directing next year, which is a true story. There's a place in Budapest, Hungary, called the House of Terror, and it was the headquarters for the Gestapo between 1943 and 1945, and then became the headquarters for the Soviet Secret Service from 1945 to 1956. And a lot of people lost their lives there, were tortured there, etc. And this is a psychological thriller based on that. And I rewrote the whole thing, and I think I'm going to be directing it, but it looks like we're funded, but we'll see.
Is this your first directing?
No, I actually directed, I directed 4 Highlander episodes, and I was lucky to, they voted the top 10, and all 4 of mine were in that top 10, which was great. The favourite seems to be Homeland, which was MacLeod going back to his roots when he went back to Scotland and met his father, or we find out more about his father.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I mean, like I said, we can keep talking, but if you guys have questions, the room is pretty packed. And so, yeah, just make your way to the microphone. That's
just make your way over there.
Yeah. So, yeah, regarding your experience as a director, like when they offered you to direct and you accepted the job, what was like, and as you mentioned, it's had a good performance. Like, how do you work in terms of, because you step in the shoes of director, it's just a common sense to explain what you expect from actors, or did you read some literature, or was it just experience with other directors? How did you proceed with actors when you directed?
Well, I was 3 years in preparation, in a sense, because I was watching every daily the way each director worked. I was on set. I looked at how they moved the camera. I had a very good director of photography who would understand what you would want. But I wanted to become a director. I wanted to direct. I asked them, I said, I want to direct the episodes. And they said, then they gave me one. And I realized what a director had to do, because there's a lot of levels that you don't really see what a director does. I mean, the director chooses the costume or the type of costumes. He knows the feeling. He knows the pacing. He has to, you know, work with the actors, like you said. Being an actor's director, being an actor, it was easier for me to talk to actors because I kind of understood what process they were going through as an actor. And Elizabeth Grayson, you know who Elizabeth Grayson is? You better do, because she played Amanda. I was directing her in one, and I made her cry before the take. On purpose.
You meanie.
Yeah, because I wanted to get that performance out of her. And she got it. And she did it. And after she goes, Adrian, you didn't have to make me cry. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did we get that take? That was really good. Yeah, that was good. So yeah, I mean, I understood the process, and what I do now when I do my sword experiences, I direct every week, every 2 weeks. I write the story, I direct it, I find the pacing, I work on the editing, which actually helps me in a creative process to continue doing that.
Nice, thank you.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
You have this fascinating personality, and the way you command the room is absolutely undeniable, which is a compliment and a question. I mean, were you always like that, or did you kind of grow into the star power through your career? Because we always imagine these, action stars to be these huge, amazing personalities. But is it always like that, or can you be like an introverted person and just do the things on screen that are so different from who you are?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I would say introvert. I'm more quiet. I don't like being out there. If I'm on stage, it's okay because it allows me to sort of go out there, as does actors. A lot of big actors that have big roles are much quieter in reality. The roles allow them to express their inner selves about what they're not able to do or they're too shy to do in public. So I get that because most of the time I'm not the person that says, excuse me. Now I'm much more so because I'm older, I guess, and I've had when I did it, the house didn't fall down. So I was, oh, that worked, that's okay, that's fine. I can say this, that's okay. But before, today I was thinking about that. Today, in the green room, they were talking about a subject. And it was something I knew about, and normally I would not say anything. I just listen, I'll go, okay. And I wouldn't want to say, because in case I interrupted them. But today I was like, no, and I went into this long conversation with them afterwards because I was confident in being able to do that. Confidence just comes from practice, right? It's really very simple. And I think that's what a lot of established actors get. They get the confidence to say and do what they want.
Thank you.
Hi. So my question is about, I don't know if it's a rumor or truth, Highlander Remake 2026.
You're Italian, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Italiano?
Sì.
Ma di dove?
Calabria.
Dove?
Calabria, South.
Ah, Cabla, va bene. Okay, sorry about that.
Posso fare una domanda?
Che voi? Davvero? Ci sono ancora? Any other Italians in the room? Anche là? Ma ci sono dappertutto, va bene. I said they're everywhere, aren't they, really? Okay, sorry about that.
La faccio in italiano.
Va bene, se vuoi, allora le altre persone non capiscono.
Allora, per educazione.
Ecco.
So, I don't know if it's a rumor, truth, Highlander Remake 2026. It was said something like that.
Yeah, no, they're doing it with a different actor. They're doing Highlander, the film, which they said if they do a film and it's successful, they may do a series and then maybe I'll do something with that, but I don't know. It's just they have a whole different... It's interesting because the film people, which is Lionsgate, when you have a product like Highlander, it starts with what they call the IP, the intellectual property. And that is owned by one person or a company. That has since changed now. It's owned by a different company. So the people that own that company have a different view and a different idea on how to do it. So Lionsgate and the film division at Lionsgate have decided that they want to go in this direction and redo the very first movie, and they have a very good script from what I understand, and they have the lead cast, and I think they're going to shoot very soon.
But my question was more like, how does it make you feel, and if maybe what will be your idea for a remake of it?
Well, I think, the interesting thing is I came here yesterday and I saw these kids and I went, none of them know who I was. They're too young. They're not even, anybody, who's under 30 here? Oh, all right, there's a few of you. Okay. In work. How's it make me feel? I think it's an honor to have a series continue or a film franchise to continue. Because remember, it was around before I was there. It would be nice to be part of it in some way, I think. But if I'm not, it's okay too. It's still not going to take away what I've done, right? It's not going to take away anything. It's not. So why be upset or anything about it? I think it's okay. I'll be interested to see what they do with it. That's what I'm, everybody says, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be good? Well, I don't know. I don't know what the director's going to do. I don't know what the actor's going to do. Because Highlander, the thing about Highlander, including Christophe Lambert, Duncan MacLeod and Conor MacLeod had two things very similar. One, they were cousins. Secondly, they had empathy. Do you know what empathy means? Empathy means they care. they have a heart. And if you play that character like, Stone, I'm a Highlander, I don't think it works as well. You have to have the soft side as well as you have to have what is known in martial arts as the yin and the yang, the soft and the hard. And I think if you play it like that, then it will touch a lot of people. And it will touch the younger audience, the under 30s, that have not seen it so far, but will identify with it because, as I said before, the emotions are all the same, whether you're 10 or whether you're 50.
Grazie.
Prego. Any other languages today? Don't do it in Lithuanian, I can. I don't.
Aš tik mokuosi. Lithuanian. I will ask in English, please. You've mentioned now, like, briefly, that you have had to step up into the role after Christopher Lambert, and I wanted to ask how it was working with him. Like, was it
Chris?
Yes. Was it like I don't know, chemistry on stage, obviously, but chemistry in real life?
I said there were two things similar. There's another one, which is we were both kids, and so the minute we met, we just like started playing, you know, and it was a real pleasant surprise. I was like, oh my God, it's Christopher Lambert. I'm going, oh, you know, how's he going to be? And, hi, how are you? It was just natural, and we just played, and we've actually kept in contact over the years. And Adrian, how are you? And when he did the very first episode, you know, because Christopher Lambert, you know, he came on as Connor MacLeod, and I was trying to think when I first started doing the series, how do you play a 400-year-old man? What does it do? I mean, what do you do? I mean, you know. And I remember we were doing a scene in the kitchen with Tessa, and he starts talking about his lost love. And he's talking like this, and then suddenly he goes, well, you know, I was in this thing, and I was in... I went, oh my God, he's 300 years old. You know, it was just the way he turned it like that. So I learned something from him in that. And, you know, he's always been a generous man. And when we did Endgame together, the roles had kind of changed, which was really interesting because I'd spent 4, 5 years, 6 years working with swords and being Highlander, and he'd gone off and done other things. And when we did Endgame together, my sword work, I was more experienced than he was because I'd now trained for 5 years, like every day virtually. And I said, well, we have to look different styles. So I was teaching him how to hold the sword in this manner rather than me holding it like this, right? So he'd come up to me after the take, was that okay? Was that okay, Adrian? I was like, yeah, it was, Chris. It was just weird at that point to have changed roles in a sense at the point. So it was, but I've always respected him, and I was adored Chris. He's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And that is our time.
That's our time.
That is our time. So please, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Paul.